Hello and welcome everyone to this video on creating your first Web Dynpro by ZaranTech. But before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our ZaranTech YouTube channel and hit the bell icon to never miss any update from us.
Hello everyone, welcome to our new video. And in this video, we will be creating our first Web Dynpro application. I've already created an application in the last video, but in this video, we will create an application again, and we will deep dive into how we are going to use our UI component and much more things. So, Web Dynpro is basically a powerful tool for developing web-based application, whether you are new to SAP or SAP development or looking to expand your skills. This tutorial will give you the foundation that you need to start building an effective and interactive web application. So in this video, we will cover everything you need to get started with Web Dynpro. We will begin with setting up your development environment and creating a new Web Dynpro component. First, we will walk through the process of setting up like a new Web Dynpro component, including defining the component structure and adding essential elements. Next, we will design the user interface using the view controller, and you will be learn how to add configuring UI element and bind them to context node and create some simple layouts. Then we will move to our component controller where we implement the application logic. This include event handling and data binding and connecting your UI to backend data. By the end of this video, you will be fully functional Web Dynpro application that can build upon customized to meet your needs. So if you're ready to start your journey in Web Dynpro, let's dive in. So what will we do? Let's go to our SC80 transaction in our SAP above workbench. So here we will choose Web Dynpro component and interfaces. Yeah, we get an option, and let's create a new application and let's name it app2. I already created an app1 in last video. So that was the very basic. I will create a more detailed application to get you introducing you with more UI component. So let's give it a description. Web Dynpro learning, because we are already in learning phase of Web Dynpro application. Here we will choose like Web Dynpro component, and let's give our name to our default window as vmain and default view as vmain. And let's choose on this, and let's enter again and save it into our local object. And I have already told you, when we create an application, we first activate it to get it ready for our use. So it is activating. So yeah, we have done that. So I've already told you about component controller. It is like, first let me drag this and minimize this window, and yeah, component controller is the topmost controller in our hierarchy of Web Dynpro components. It will hold our logic and act as a parent to control all the below objects like view and window. So let's move to our view and add something in our view to see how that it will look in our web browser. So yeah, this is our view, and let it load first. Then we can use it. So let me add something in our root element container. Sorry, it is not in the changing mode. So let me do that. So it is now in changing mode. Let's add something in our view. Insert element. First, we will add title. And for title, we use page header. So yeah, page header is here. And let's go down and give some title to it. Application 1. And let's activate it. And let's also create an application for it to test how our Web Dynpro component is looking. Description is not mandatory, so I'm leaving it for now. And yeah, this is the like this is a page which will show the details of your application, the name of the application, interface view, the window attached to this application, plug. I will also tell you plug later on this series, and this is the link where our application is saved. So let's click on save button and tick this box and save it into a local object. After saving it, you can test it or you can copy this URL and paste it into the browser. So yeah, I will first remove the last link which we have used. And after pasting it, see the title which we have given in our application, it's shown here, application 1. So let's add something more, let's add something more to it. So what we will do, let's create, go to our view, and let's create a text view. Let's add some text to it. So you have to come to root element container and give it insert element and like text view. ID will be text view and type will be text. So you can go, there are many many UI components. You can go and see text view is here. So we'll go and text view sorry, my bad, I have given a wrong. There should not be any spaces. We can use underscore else. So yeah, text view is here. See, you're seeing a 3 green dot because there's nothing in our text view. So it is blank. So it is showing 3 green dot. So this is the property of our text view. Inherit, standard, auto, something you see. And here is the one section text. Anything which is shown in red background, it means it is mandatory to add. If I will let me show you. If I will try to activate our application, so see, text of the element text view does not contain any value. So it means we will be not able, be able to activate our Web Dynpro application if we do not fill the mandatory field. So there's an option to choose your text field dynamically, but for now I'm going to make it static, first application in Web Dynpro. I want this text should be shown in our web application. So let's activate it and go to our browser. And when we will refresh it, so see the text is appearing here, first application in Web Dynpro. So what is what we are going to do again? We will be creating something more in our Web Dynpro application. I haven't explained you about context and much more topic. So I will be showing you what is context and what other thing we can add in our this. So first I will go and create a context. See, there is a tab property inbound, outbound plug, and there is tab like context. So we will be creating a context first. So let's come here. See, here is an option context vmain and context component controller. So when you create a context in our component controller section, then that context will be shown here. And when you create a context locally, it will be shown here. So by default, we haven't created any context till now. So it is not showing here. So what we will do, we will be creating our context first. So before creating context, I will tell you what is context and why we are talking a lot about context and how we will be using it. So let me first create a context and then I will be telling you what is context. So we want to create a local context. So we will click here, and after clicking here, you will right click, you will get two options, create node and attribute. So for this, when we are here, and I would like you to introduce you with what is the definition of context, or what in easy term we can understand what is context. So if context act as a variable or the storage where you can store the data. So when you want to store the data, we use context. Like we use variable in SAP ABAP, and we want the same functionality to be used in our Web Dynpro application. So we use context. So the context act as the memory on the server to store the data for the Web Dynpro application. When we set up it correctly, context can hold tables, structure, or a single element variable. So we can store all three things like a structure of data, structure, table, data, and also if you want to create a like you want to store data for a single variable, that can be also possible. So in our SAP app also we use variables to store data, tables to store multiple records, and so we will be going to create node. So when you want to store multiple records, means for multiple fields we use node, and if you want to store data for single field or single input value, we use attributes. So I want to store for multiple fields, so I will click on node and give. So I will explain you what like this pop-up means. So the node name here, you will be giving the name of your node, which name of the context which you want. So I will be giving it at VBAK, and in another section is input field. First is in interface node. By default, it is no, means we do not want this context to be used in interface. So by default, it is no. And next is input. So the purpose of input field is to display input as well as text value. And another thing is dictionary structure. If you want to use any dictionary structure which is by default present in SAP's ABAP, like I've given the name VBAK, so I will be using VBAK. We can also use our custom. Sorry, I have clicked on enter, so it has been it has been created by default. So I have given the dictionary structure as VBAK because I want to first let me delete it because I will be not be able to choose the field. So I have given a VBAK because I want to use fields of VBAK. You can give any name, but I have given VBAK because I will be using VBAK fields. So cardinality. The other section is cardinality. Cardinality defines the behavior of the context node, and the property of context node can behave as internal table or work area. So by default, it is one-to-one, means we can use it as work area. If we use 2 to n or 3 to n, we can use it as a table. So what is the next? Another section is selection. Selection is used for table control, and another thing, initialization lead to selection. And by default it is set to yes. So it will, I can show this you in table when we will be using table. You have seen when we use table, by default the first row is selected. So if you click on yes, the by default first row will be selected. If you click on no, the first row will not be selected. And here it is a singleton property. By default it is set to no. What is singleton property? It is the one of the property of the context node. Singleton is used to for context node contains multiple child node. If context node contains singleton property, must declare supply function property. Singleton means if the instance of the child node of the parent node be created only once. For singleton, you need to also use supply function. Also, they can be used as a combination. So, what is supply function? It is role is to provide the data in context node. If you want to show default data, then we use supply function, and it can be used in conjunction to singleton. So we will be not be creating supply function because we do not want to give values to our input like our context node by default. So what the next thing we have to do is you have to click on add attribute from the structure. It will be showing the VBAK table and all the fields of the VBAK table, and you have to choose what all field you need. And let's choose VB8. I've choose like few of the fields, and let's hit it and see 6 attributes had been added. And let's first activate our view. So yeah, it is activated. So let's come to our layout and see. Let me add something which is called table transparent controller. I will give it as TCO1 and type as transparent container. So transparent container is used for like organizing your application in like more efficient manner. So in our transparent container, I will be inserting elements, and let's insert an input field, INP, and here you get an option as input field, and see our input field has been created. And let's choose our input field and go down in the properties of the input field. So see here you will be getting an option of value, and here it is option create a binding. So every input field should be binded, as it is the mandatory thing. So I will bind it with VBLN. I can use complete or structure also. I will be using later all the fields in the later part of the video, but I've created a single input field, so I can use only one field from our context which we have created earlier. So I'm choosing VBLN and click on Save button. So see, a binding has been created, v underscore main dot VBAK dot VBLN. So our input field has been created. So let's activate it first and see how it is looking in our browser. So see, our input field is appear, but we are not able to see like for what we have created the input field. So let's also add a label to it. Insert element, and let's choose label here and type label. And when we create it, so a label is appearing here. And when you go to the properties of label, so that a mandatory field is showing here label for, and when you will so it is showing a drop down. So see, in drop down, they're giving option for what you want to create a label. You want to create a label for input field or root UI element container or TCO1 or text view. All the it is showing the label for which you want to. It is all showing all the option for which you can create the label. So we want to create the label for input field. So we will be selecting input, and let's activate it. So when we select it from this, the default a name of that data element will be shown here. So VB again default VBLN default name is sales document, so it is appearing here. Let's see how it is looking in the browser. So see, label is coming, but label is coming backwards. So for that, what we can do is you have to click on the UI element, and when you will right click in, then you will get multiple option where you want to move it. So if you want to move it to the first position, you can move it. But if I want to move it only one step, so we can move it one step, and let's activate it again and see how it is looking in our browser. And let's refresh it again. So see, sales document is coming here, and F4 help is also coming. Where we'll be clicking on the F4 help, it will be showing all the VBLN from our database, like all the VBLNs stored in our data, like VBAK tables. So yeah, this is for the one field. But if we what if we want to create multiple input field? It is very hectic to go and create like 5 to 6 input field separately for. So if you want to create multiple input fields together at same time, we can also do that. So for that, firstly I will create another like transparent container to differentiate it with a previous one. See, I am changing the ID to TCO2 because TCO1 I've already used, and I've created another table like transparent container. And let's go here and create. If you want to create multiple input fields together, or so we have to click on create container form. After clicking on create container form, we will get an option to choose context node, and when you will click here, see our context node is appearing, and we can select the context node. It will bring it will create like input field for all the fields in the context node. And when we will click on enter, see all the fields are appearing here, and layout for the new container is showing here. So I will change the layout to matrix layout, because SAP best practices show that we should use majorly as matrix layout for better look and feel of your application. So see, binding is already exists, means earlier when we were creating an input field, we have to create one input field and one label separately. That was the too tedious or hectic task. By this, we will be able to create like label and input field simultaneously. And when you will be clicking on tick button, so see, all the label and input field both have been created. And let's activate in our application and see how it is looking in our browser. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, see, two sales document is coming because this is in our container one and this is in our container two, and multiple fields have been created. So let's add something. Let's bind some the logic behind it. So let's go. So what we can do, what I'm thinking is like when we enter any sales document, see by default when we are choosing, let's choose 5 and hit enter. So by default, nothing is coming in created on time and created by in document category. What I am thinking like when we choose any sales document number and hit on enter button, all these fields will be populated automatically. For that, what I will be doing, I will be going to our input field, VBLN, and when you will go down here, you will be getting an event section and there will be an event on enter. So I will create an event first to see how we'll be using it. So let's name it fill fields. Name can be anything, and you can also give description, filling the fields of VBAK. And when you will click on enter button, so an on action will be created here. So see, our on action has been created here. You can double click from here also to navigate to that part, or you can also go back and you can go to method section of your view, and like it has been navigated mid inside. So see, an event has been created here on action, fill fields, and the description, filling the fields of VBAK showing it. So a custom on action is being shown here. So what we have to do, we have to first read the VBLN, because when we want to fill all the fields according to the VBLN selected. So for that, I will be first introducing you to the Web Dynpro code wizard. So this is the like tool provided by Web Dynpro, SAP Web Dynpro, to help you to work with SAP Web Dynpro components and write your codes and create UI components more easily. So for now, I'm using it for code. We can in later videos we will be using it for creating UI component also. We will click on that. So for here we will be getting an option to choose the context. So I will be choosing VBLN because I want to read VBLN. So there are multiple options: read, set, append, and table operation. So by default, we have selected 1-to-1. So we are not able to like these two options are disabled for us. If we have choose 1-to-n or 1-to-many, then we will these two options would also be available to us. So we will be reading VBLN first. So yeah, so see, our code has been written by Web Dynpro itself, and value of the VBLN will be coming here. Like what VBLN will be giving on our browser side will be coming here. So we have read the value, but now we want to set the value to the other component. So we will be again going to our Web Dynpro code wizard, and we will choose context. And now we will choose complete context node because we want to fill all the fields according to the web like regarding to our VBLN inserted by the user. So now we will use the set operation. So yeah, set operation is here. Before this, after reading, what we have to do is we have to select data from our VBAK into select star from VBAK. I'm writing star. You can also give the name of the fields into add the rate data WD. Let's not use new syntax. I will use old syntax only. See, I'm using LSVBAK. You must be thinking I have not defined LSVBAK, but let me take you apart. LSVBAK, LN, and local object for VBAK and local object for context node has been already been created. So I'm using that. I will be using that structure of VBAK, which has been created before only. So into LSVBAK, where VBLN equals to LBVBELN. So LBVBLN is here. I will be what we have entered on our UI side will be stored here, and I will be fetching data from VBAK according to that VBLN. So this is already created upper part of the code. So I will be commenting this because we do not need this. And see, here LSVBAK has been passed. If we have used another work area, I've used the work area which is already there because I do not want to waste like storage part of component like Web Dynpro component. So I have reused the VBAK which was created on upper side. So we have also passed this LSVBAK here, and let's activate it. On action fields. Okay. I think there is some error in our component. I'm facing some issue while creating our Web Dynpro component. Let me see what error is coming by end select. I think I have commented something wrong, maybe. Let's comment this and see what is the bug which we are facing. So yeah, we are good to go with that. So let me use one new syntax. Select star. Oh, sorry, I think what I was making mistake. I got it. It was, let me see. See, now no error is coming because we were select single. I haven't used select single, but I was using work area. So in work area, we can get only one line item. So you need to use select single. So yeah, I've activated it. I will activate our whole component again, the whole Web Dynpro component, and let's go to browser and refresh it. And let's go here and let's choose 5 and hit enter. See, our rest other fields are populated according to the sales document number or the VBLN which we have inserted. So let's choose another number. Let's choose 22 and let's hit enter. See, we are able to fetch data according to our VBLN which we are entering on our UI side. So yeah, that's all for the basic application. For the first, I think this is all for our first application, and we will be creating much more application in later part of this video series. And thank you for watching this video. See you in the next part.